Hello YouTube, my name is Janitor, and today we're going to talk about Pokemon Sun and Moon Anime Episode 89, which aired this morning. Then of course we have Pokemon Sun and Moon Episode 90 with the preview that we have for next week, September 13th, and then afterwards Pokemon Sun and Moon Anime Episode 91. A reminder that there will be a 2-week break, and then Episode 91 airs on October 7th. And once again, as I covered in my last video, there's been confirmation that there's going to be a schedule change for the anime. Instead of airing around 4:30 a.m. Central Time in Thursday, it'll be airing I think Saturday or Sunday around 3:30 or 3 o'clock a.m. Central Time. So check out my last video because that's where I go more in depth on it. I just wanted to remind you guys once again. And also, as with the previous weeks, and just as usual, I'll be doing this, continuing moving forward. Once again, I'll be watching Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight live in the stream link, the DSGS link. So the first link I think is gotten closed, but I'll link a second one that I've been using in conjunction with it because it seems to be working fine. That's where I watched today's episode this morning, and so that's where I'll be watching it later on. For those of you wondering as to whether or not you can use it, like it's not like you have to pay or anything. You don't have to pay for it. Or for some reason it's like 24 hours that you can only use it for free one day, and then after that you have to pay for it. I've been using it for about a month now, and there's no paywall. You just need to make an account, and there you can like use it. So there's no paywall or anything like that. You can just use it after making an account. But yeah, I'll be there around 11:30 Central Time because I think that's where it airs usually. That's around the time that it usually airs. Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight later today. So yeah, as for today's episode, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I enjoyed it, especially in the second half where we got the sequence of Naganadel and the storytelling, because apparently it's telepathic and it can talk to Ash and his friends. And there's a really great shot near the end that I want to get to. But yeah, I'll go more in depth later on in this video. Just let me know your thoughts on what you thought of today's episode. I really enjoyed it. But just to continue on, and just to kind of start off where we left off was last week's episode, where of course Lunala was being helped by Ash and his friends using the Z-Rings to get more energy from it. And so afterwards, Lunala is able to break free, and so pretty much making an ultra wormhole for Ash and his friends to go through. One of my favorite moments in the episode was where actually we have Kukui and the scientist Fab, I believe. I keep forgetting his name sometimes, but they both end up working together to stop Team Rocket, from interfering. And there's a short moment. I do hope we see more of Mega Aggron because we actually, as I covered last week, we actually do see Mega Aggron in this episode, which is great. As I mentioned before, Aggron was among my first level 100 Pokemon back in Pokemon Ruby in my Game Boy Advance SP. But just continue on with the episode. It's a short fight. They do try to hold their own, but eventually Mega Aggron does defeat their Pokemon. But I did enjoy that there was a bit of a tag team between those two. So hopefully we see more of that in next episode. But continuing on with Ash and his friends, like I mentioned, we actually did see in the preview that there were going to be a bunch of Poipole as well as a Naganadel. Now, I was pretty surprised as to initially like what its voice was going to be, but it does turn out that Naganadel is telepathic, and so we get a pretty amazing sequences. One of my favorite moments in the episode was where Naganadel is telling Ash and his friends about Necrozma, Ultra Necrozma, and then Solgaleo and Lunala, and also Lily does help in the episode as well when it comes to telling about Ultra Necrozma. We did get a hint of it in some of the previous episodes, but the sequence here is great because the use of the music and visuals is really good in my opinion. I thought how they were telling it in the background. Ash and his friends are listening into Naganadel as she's describing the history of what took place with Necrozma in the past, how we eventually saw in the episode where it breaks free from it looks like black ice almost, but just a black crystal structure. Then it goes after Solgaleo and Lunala as we saw in some of the previous episodes. We kind of get a backstory towards that. I just thought the way they portray the storytelling was really good in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But just to continue on with the episode, we actually do get to see the battle more with Dustwing Necrozma, or I think it's Dustmane Necrozma. That's how you call it when Solgaleo is fused with Necrozma. But it does try to battle with Lunala. Ash and his friends, Gladion, they all try to help. But ultimately what ends up happening after they're battling with Team Rocket, Kukui and the rest, we actually do see a pretty great sequence near the end where Ash and his friends are using their Z moves once again. And I think this is the first time that Silvally, let me just check for a bit because I know someone commented it. Let me just check for a bit. Silvally did use a Z move here. It's called okay, so it's called Ultra Dash Attack. But yeah, apparently Silvally did end up using a Z move in this episode. So we see Ash, Kiawe, Lana, and Gladion all using their Z moves to help out. And so it pretty much ends there with Solgaleo, still fused with Necrozma at the end of this episode, Dustmane Necrozma. And so we do get the preview. Let me just open that for a bit. Okay, so it pretty much starts off. I'll try to have a the images of the episode as well as the preview on screen right now. But basically we can see the kind of similar to with the Lunala moment, where it looks like the Z-ring energy is heading into the Ultra wormhole, and there's a great shot with Jesse James and the rest of Team Rocket like giving their energy as well. That's pretty nice. But it looks like it's mainly going to be them battling and try to work, basically to separate Solgaleo and Necrozma. There's a pretty interesting shot where I don't know if it's fire, but basically like a ton of energy is just consuming Solgaleo and Necrozma there. And one of the final shots is, let me just see here. Yeah, it's really awesome. I'll try to have it on screen, if not to have it as the thumbnail or one of the first images. But there's a really great shot with Ash and Gladion. Pretty much like they're doing, I'm guessing they're going to use their Z move soon, but it's Ash and Gladion. And then in the background, it's Solgaleo and Lunala. It's a really great shot. I'll try to have it on screen, or at least at some point in this video, because it's really great in my opinion. It's awesome to see them like working together, especially after the tag team that we saw earlier in this episode with Faba and Kukui. So yeah, overall I thought I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a great, especially with the music and the visuals. Like I mentioned, the Nagana Del sequence I thought was really well done in my opinion. So let me know your thoughts on today's episode. Just to go through the episode titles, episode 90 is Connect to the Future, The Legend of the Radiant One, September 13th. Then of course we have the 2-week break, and then on Pokemon Sun and Moon episode 91, that is airing on October 7th. It is an Outbreak Chew, the Pikachu Valley, airing on once again on October 7th. So be sure to look out for that as well. And of course later today, I'll leave this second link now that I'm using. I think it's like vk.com or something like that. But yeah, I'll leave it in the comments. Definitely check it out. I should be tuning in there under like my usual name, Janitor. So definitely check it out there as well. So yeah, tune in around 11:30 Central Time, and hopefully we can watch it, because I'm really enjoying Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Peace, stay hyped, and as always, best wishes.